In this video, we're going to talk about how the college football playoff rankings are determined. It's by a group of individuals, if you can believe that get into a room and discuss the top 4 best teams in college football. As of today, November 9th, 2023, here are how the rankings sit. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Michigan. And number 4, Florida State. Now, the following is from the College Football Playoff website itself. A dedicated group of high-integrity football experts with experience as coaches, student athletes, college administrators, and journalists, along with sitting athletic directors, comprise the selection committee. The 4 teams that go to the college football playoffs are determined by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. The selection committee chooses the 4 teams for the playoffs based on strength of schedule, head-to-head results against common opponents, championships won, and other factors. So who's on the 2023 Playoff Selection Committee? Let's look at every single individual along with their bios. Leading off with the chair, Boo Corrigan, who is the North Carolina Athletic Director. Conference that he's affiliated with is the ACC. This season, North Carolina State has seen Notre Dame, Louisville, Duke, and Clemson. Said that Florida State beating Duke and Clemson were good wins for the Seminoles. Also said that the Seminoles are scoring 40 points a game and allowing 17 points a game. Clearly, they are looking at style points if you go off that transcript that they provided after the last playoff rankings. Next up, you have Chris Alt, who is currently retired. He is the former head coach and AD at the University of Nevada. Now, University of Nevada currently doesn't have a top 10 team in the playoffs. He's currently retired. I would assume that he sits back and watches college football, but being from Nevada, not really in Big Ten country, SEC country, closer to the Pac-12, if you will. Next up, you got Mark Harlan, who is the current athletic director for the Utah Utes, the conference affiliated Pac-12. This season, Utah has seen Oregon. Oregon came into Salt Lake City and beat up on the Utes, and Mark Harlan is a representative from the Pac-12. David Slayer, who is the athletic director at the University of Miami, Ohio, conference affiliated, the MAC. Miami of Ohio has not played a top 10 team this season. Rod West, this is interesting. Sometimes the playoff committee in the past, they've just brought in different minds to give a look at the college football playoff rankings. This year, you have Rod West, the group president, utility operations for Entergy Corporation, responsible for operational and financial performances of Entergy's 5 operating companies. What do you think about Rod West being a part of the committee? Look, a lot of these people have incredible resumes. Some have master's degrees, some are doctorates. But in terms of ranking the actual top 4 teams, it's an interesting process, as you can see. Mitch Barnhart right here is the athletic director for Kentucky. Clearly, the affiliation is the SEC, the lone rep. SEC just has one. Kentucky lost to Georgia this season. And if you're an Alabama fan, clearly, Mitch is going to have a front seat to see this transformed Alabama Crimson Tide team. I guarantee he's going to have this team under a microscope. So in terms of playing 4 quarters of play, that's something that you want to do if you're the Alabama Crimson Tide. Mitch Barnhart is going to be in the front row. Jim Grobe, who is a former coach at Wake Forest and at Baylor. Yes, he's a former coach there. Conference affiliated with is the ACC. You got Chet Gladchuk, who is the athletic director for Navy. Conference affiliated with American. Saw Notre Dame in week 1. So as you can see, it's a wide variety of athletic directors, people in different positions. But again, like Navy with the top 10 of college football, ranking the top 10 teams, interesting angle, and be curious to see what type of feedback that these guys are getting. And I think also you're seeing kind of a common theme. A lot of these representatives have seen Notre Dame. That's why you keep seeing Notre Dame ranked up in the top 20 despite losing 3 games this season. And again, I'm sure that these are fine individuals who have achieved a ton in the world, but it's a weird process of the committee members. Ward Manuel, who is the current athletic director at Michigan, with all this stuff going on at Michigan. Now, it does clearly state that he has a recuse, which is Michigan, meaning that he can't give feedback related to the rankings, but it's like you can't give feedback to the rankings, then how are you even on the committee to begin with? What teams are you ranking? And you have Michigan as a top 4 with everything going on. It just doesn't sit well with me. Next up, you have Will Shields, former Nebraska offensive guard, conference affiliated with the Big Ten, another member, Pro Football 2015 Hall of Fame, now owns a fitness company. So you see different people inside this room talking college football. I mean, it could honestly be like you and your buddies who are deciding the fate of the college football world. You have Gene Taylor, who's the Kansas State athletic director, conference affiliated with the Big 12. Saw Kansas State go on the road and lose to Texas in overtime 33-30 last week. Next up, this is an interesting one as well. You have Joe Taylor, who is the former Virginia Union head coach and current AD, conference affiliated with none. Looks like a great coach. I mean, 232-96, so clearly he knows football, but it's not even an FBS type school. There's a big difference in ranking teams like Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, than at, a Virginia Union. I mean, that's just my opinion. What do you think about that inside the comment box? And finally, you have Kelly Whiteside, a former college football reporter for Newsday, Sports Illustrated, has her BA from Rutgers, which is also in the Big Ten, and currently a professor at Montclair State, which is in New Jersey, spent 14 years as a national college football writer for USA Today. Those are your committee members, and that is who will decide the fate of the top 4 college football teams moving forward. So each Tuesday when you see the rankings, those are the individuals that get into a room and decide who are the top 25 teams in the new college football rankings. I want to hear from you inside the comment box. What do you think about the committee members? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is there anybody that stands out? I want to get your take inside the comment box.